Okay, this is a one-speaker meeting, and let's give a warm welcome to Frank.
Yeah, it's going to be my fucking way. Okay. What are you doing? It's supposed to be my way. Okay, if you have any doubts, my name's Frank. I'm an alcoholic. This is one of the rooms that I got sober in. It's one of the rooms that while the speaker was speaking, I was thinking of China White. I know none of you are doing that right now, or not thinking about Jack Daniels or that, but I'll tell you one thing. I love the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. It fucking saved my life. This is my sobriety month. The 22nd of this month, I'll be sober 29 years. I'll tell you how I did it. I'm going to tell you how I did it. It's real simple. I did it one day at a time. I take all the kind of platitudes that are thrown around here. I took them serious. I used to call up my sponsor. I said, oh, man, I really heard this guy, the Architects of Adversity meeting. Man, he was so hip, man. He really had it done. He said he didn't stay sober for a long time. He stayed sober for one day at a time. Wow. And he said, yeah, Frank, you done? And I said, yeah, okay, yeah, one day at a time. And live and let live, all that kind of good stuff. And like what Rudy had to say, I'll tell you what I got out of that little poem that Rudy read. And it's something that I believe is that I know I got another drunk in me. I know I got another high in me. In fact, if I think about it, I can see the blood in the dropper right now in my vein. Okay, get a little funky, right? Now, a few guys know what I'm talking about. A couple of gals may know what I'm talking about, right? So you see me with my keppel on and me wearing my tzitzis, but like I'm from the rooftops of the Bronx. I'm from the Venice Beach, sitting and you know looking for a bottle cap. Okay, so that's my thing. But I'll tell you one thing too. Through all my addiction, I had a little bit of a work ethic going. I figured that the idea that what got you in trouble was not having enough money to buy your dope, right? So it was at UCLA that I decided that what I was going to do is I was going to earn a lot of money. And the only thing that I knew, I was in school, I was a philosophy major. I didn't I was sort of keep everybody off my back. And I was a drummer. And I played did studio work at the time and played since I was a kid. Much younger than that, 14 or 15, I played with some big bands. And then I got a girlfriend, and she said, well, look, I mean, why don't you take and join a rock band? And then the Beatles were sort of happening in those days. And I said, well, that's a pretty good idea. They make a lot of money? Yeah, they make a lot of money. Sounds right to me. So I was in a band called Canned Heat. And, yeah, some of you heard of them, huh? Okay. All right. Right now, 3 of those guys are dead from my disease, from your disease. The money wasn't right yet, so I joined another band that was called Pacific Gas and Electric. The money was right there. 2 of those guys are homeless, one's dead, and one teaches guitar in the Valley. And I'm a clinical psychologist and a psychoanalyst. I've had a long journey, I'll tell you. Let me see. Let's see. About 29 years ago, about what was happening well, I'll tell you what happened yesterday, Sunday, 29 years ago. I was just getting up after a really vicious hangover, and I took to get straight about 4 Percodan and whatever snortables and a couple of frozen vodkas, and got on my bike to go to Gold's Gym. And I'm trucking down the boardwalk in the morning, and I ran into an elephant. You hip to the Hare Krishna thing? Well, I ran into the elephant, right, and looked at that elephant, and I said, oh, man, I am fucked up. I said, ain't nobody going to believe this shit. Then the next week, I woke up. I always seemed to be, I had that, waking up, I remember. Going to sleep, I never remember that. So there was this hard metal thing in my mouth. Oh, I know it's not a dick. Okay, what it was my shotgun. And I looked at that, and I looked at my toe, and my toe was in the trigger. And I went, oh, fuck. And I said, well, the fucker really ain't loaded, is it? Boom! Had a moment of clarity at that moment. Well, then there was the following day, and all true shit, man. Following day, I said I can't keep the shotgun out of my mouth to my ex-wife. And she said, well, put the fucker in it and pull the fucking trigger. I said, that isn't what I expected from you. She says, that's what you deserve, asshole. So I called my cousin, and he came over, and they put me in Westwood Hospital in a padded cell, put me on a 24-hour hold. And the next day there, I had a recording date where there was a whole bunch of strings coming in they can sweeten that. And I say, yeah, get me out of here. I don't know what happened last night. It was kind of, sometimes I get a little weird. Oh, no, you're on a 24-hour hold. Oh, I said, I'm going to sue your ass, blah, 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 blah. So they called my psychoanalyst at the time, and he said, oh, no, I'll let him out. He's okay till tonight. And I did the recording date, and I realized I had a pretty serious problem at that time, but I was going to go over my girlfriend's house and on my way there was a bar on Main Street over here, Venice Boy, right? And it's called Merlin's, and I figure if I had my usual was I was too embarrassed to order it, So I would always go in bars that knew me, and tip the guy and order my usual. Usual was a triple Jack Daniels with a beer back. It's manly drink. And then when you order it, you order another one, but hold the back. I didn't want to overindulge. And I figured that one or two of the usual would make my girlfriend look a little better, So. Oh, like it didn't happen to you, huh? Okay, right. Program of rigorous honesty, right? Okay. They used to be, when I got sober, 29 years ago, all these really prim, proper people used to come up here, and you'd see the lady speakers, right? Right at the end, they'd say, and sometimes I woke up and didn't know the name of the person next to me. I would think that was a successful night. So anyway, that night I had a few of the regulars, a few of the usuals, and all of a sudden it was like 2 in the morning. And I was supposed to be there for dinner. But like, I really didn't want to disappoint her. So like, I went over at that point and found myself going the wrong way on the Santa Monica Freeway. Now, all right, I got a great question. Only in these rooms, how many people know what color is on the little bumps on the lane lines on the freeway? How many of you know what color is on the other side? No, that's it. You may take and revise being, no. Okay, no, it's red. They are red. I thought more of you people, I'm all alone, going the wrong way in the Santa Monica Freeway. Same as San Bernardino Freeway. I was out 3 months ago. Okay, so anyway, wrong way on this. It's all red. And at that point, I realized, you know what? You really have a problem here, Frank. Made a U-turn. Ended up at her house. Passed out at the door while ringing it. She dragged me in or whatever. She was a great Al-Anon. And at the next morning, I woke up and said, I got to do something about it. And a friend of mine in high school said that he was in an AA meeting in Brentwood. I said, and the woman there said that she had a hole in her gut that alcohol filled. And that sort of stuck in my mind. So I went down to the West LA AA office thinking that was the program. I said, listen, I'm here. I'm afraid to leave the room because I'm going to use, there's juniors across the street, and I know I'm going to get a beer, and I know I'm going to be on it again. And they said, well, just sit here. They'd answer the phone, and I'd be talking. Then they said, look, why don't you go to a meeting tonight? A meeting? I said, well, I don't have any of your literature. I really couldn't really, participate in things like budget and that sort of thing and give you my insight, having worked for Columbia Records and that, and you know how important I am. And they said, no, you just come to the meeting. And I said, okay, where is it? 26 and Broadway. Okay, I'll be there. And I went there, and I sort of crawled in the door at about, then meetings were 8:30, and I started looking in, and it looked like a lot of Protestants are here. And guy from across the room, one of the guys who was there, said, "Oh, Frank, come right in, Frank." And I'm, hello. And he said, come on, go. We got a seat for you. You got a seat for me? And he sits me right down where this young man is right there. And and there's a piano behind it. I said, well, they know I'm a musician. They want me to play a tune, No problem. I've got a couple of things I'll do. Maybe I'll do what I say. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Okay, cool, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so then at the break in the meeting, and they said, do you know who's sitting next to you? I say, no. Who's sitting next to me? Does he know who's sitting next to him? They said, no, the guy you're sitting next to, he's an astronaut. He's on the moon. I said, I was there myself yesterday. Big deal, right? And he looked like a Protestant too. Okay. So anyway, there was a gal. She was Puerto Rican, and half Puerto Rican and half Jewish. I fell in love immediately. And she said something that I needed to hear at that meeting. She says that you could remain crazy and stay sober. I always thought up to that time you had to be sane and then you got sober. That's what I thought. I was going into psychoanalysis, blah, 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 and I wanted to get well. Sure, I wanted to get well. Then I was going to stop drinking. But guess what? I stopped drinking, and it's just taken me 29 years to get about where I am right now. So I've never slipped because I do everything that was told of me to do. I immediately would raise my hand. In those days, we had glass coffee cups, so we used to wash the coffee cups, used to sweep the room, used to pile the chairs up. I went to the Palisades meeting on Monday night that I couldn't stand and set the chairs up there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I did everything you told me to do. And that's how I stayed sober about 4 or 5 months into the program. I didn't want to be in the music business anymore. I had my own record company, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. It was too, what's the right word? It was too undependable. I was always depending on what I used to say, the unwashed public, to like the shit that I was doing, and I wasn't really all that sure. I was tired of doing shit for other people. Realized that my whole thing about the music business was I was a people pleaser. I stopped when I liked to play free jazz, and that was not happening, and I did everything in terms of my music for money. So I went in and I told the guy who was the accountant, take the job and shove it. I think I heard that somewhere. And he said, "It's your company, man." I said, "Well, I don't want it. You take it. Get another guy to do it, man." And I walked away. I do not regret that. I love to play drums, still play drums a couple of times a week. Love to play drums, but you know what? When money gets involved in the situation, the art leaves it. So I don't play for money. I play for fun. So I went back to school. I got my bachelor's. I got my master. I got a PhD. I got a PhD, and I got a PsyD. I teach in the biggest institute west of the Mississippi. I've got all the honors. I was president of the Southern California Psychoanalytic Society. I graduated Phi Beta Kappa. All the good things that alcoholics do when they get sober, who have a work ethic. I got married on the program. I got divorced on the program. I got married on the program. I got divorced on the program. Then I fell in love on the program. And I married a normie. And it's been the happiest 11 years of my life. And about 8 or 10 years ago, I started to go to a bod in Malibu and started to get more involved in my heritage and my religion. Nevertheless, realizing that in these rooms saved my life. Now, I would love to go through all the steps as I see them with you, but I want to talk about a couple of steps that aren't given much attention that I think are, other than 1, 2, and 3, are the most important steps. And that's 6 and 7. And 6 and 7, yeah, go ahead and look up there. Check it out. Those are those ones, you zoom by. 6 and 7 are the idea that you have to have the willingness to change, and then you ask for the help to change. That's what 6 and 7 is about. That's what this program is about. I mean, one can stay sober, and I've known people to stay sober who've never written an inventory. They got 25 years, etc. But you know what? I don't want what they have. The steps are designed not to be obstacles. The steps are designed to make your life better, to make them happy, to take and give you tools to deal with all of life's problems. I've had a lot of health issues. I've had cancer. I've had a heart attack. I flatlined. They had to shock me back 3 times. That's what, life is about. I have just this last week, I had a really dear friend of mine die. Not of this disease, but I'm going to miss him, and he's dead. And I've had a lot of people die, and a lot of people that were my contemporaries, Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Paul Butterfield and Mike Bloomfield. They were all my friends, and they're all dead, and they all died of our disease. And like that, I was able to last until 37, I thought was an absolute miracle. God said, "Oh, give him one more," But I think I used my last high up. it was something that Rudy had to say is that I do believe you have to give it away to keep it. And the best way to give it away to keep it without a resentment is to use a tool that God used to give people wisdom. It was the apple. And the bite of the apple was the ability to have empathy with another human being. The ability to understand how another person feels without thinking about your shit. To take and understand what is going on in them. So I may be an Orthodox Jew, but I understand the plight of a Palestinian. I understand when I'm absolutely right and my wife is wrong, why she still thinks she's right. That took a lot of work. And, you know, we all laugh in here and have fun, and these rooms are warm, and I feel really comfortable with everybody here. And, you know, you're all my brothers and sisters, and but we're here to save our fucking lives. Hello? That's what we're in this room right now for. We are here to save our life. And AA is a matter of life and death. Those steps and not obstacles are there to take and make our seat solid and make our life good. My life is excellent. I mean, when I was being wheeled into surgery, that would be June of last year, I knew when I came out I wasn't going to be the same. You know, I knew that. But I knew that this is what needed to be done. And every minute that I was there, I said, hey, listen, it's just a minute. It's going to be over. It's it. That's it. You just got to do it. And I start working my program on it, you know. I'm powerless over cancer. My life has become unmanageable. You got to turn it over to this little creep who's going to operate on me. And God, you didn't get me this damn far to let me go now, you know. And Mr. Platitude City, you know, is what you have to do, because there's going to be, everybody's going to let you down in the program. Everybody's going to let you down in life, you know, but the program's not going to let you down. The program is here. This program is not going to let you down. Like I was saying, you know, I mean, I get a little strange with the idea, you know, that I didn't know if I locked my car or not when I came in here. And I just knew one thing, that I'm in here, you know, the God that I have questions about all the time, is he going to have somebody take my appointment book out of my car or not? You know, well, he wouldn't have given me this parking place, you know, if he had, I'm doing such a good deed, I get to take and stand up in front of a whole group of people and talk about a subject I despise talking about, myself. Do you believe that? I mean, isn't it a great program? I mean, we stay sober by doing what we think about most of the time, and then every once in a while speak about it. How many people here just think about themselves all the time? What takes up 44% of your inner space, right? Up here, what do you think about? What I need, what I want, who I want, what I do when I get what I want. You know, I mean, I'm a little too fat, I'm a little too thin, I'm a little less muscle, a little more this. I think that you ate too much today. I think I didn't eat enough today. You know, is that familiar to anyone? No, this is my own ideation, I know. So being a psychoanalyst, I get to deal real peekaboo and hear a lot of shit, let me tell you. I got 7 priests and 2 rabbis in my practice. And you know what? You can't tell the difference between an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic when they're talking about how they feel. All the shit that we got that we think that are really alcoholic, everybody's got the same stuff. Everybody's got the same stuff going, the same thoughts, the same feelings of inadequacy, and the same shame. And it's really important, like that's what 6 and 7 are about, is to get rid of our shame. And shame is a feeling deep down in our heart that we are peculiarly defective in a way that makes us less than everybody else in some way or another. In some way or another, that we are less than everybody else. And like when Bradshaw talks about, shame-based stuff, it's all about that personal ideation that takes place, us thinking about we are not enough. And like I'll tell you, there's a gift that working the steps will do. It'll take that away for a time. And then you work the steps again and they take them away again. But they will take it away. It's never going to go away completely. But it can go away for a while, and that's good enough for me. So I want to do one thing. I want to thank you all for my life.